Hey everyone, bloodmako here, and finally I'm done with Transcendence tier 6. So for gate 1, as I think most of y'all have already seen, a lot of people are doing the Auron strategy. So they basically just run a single Auron against these two bosses, and I'm pretty sure, at least I'm not sure about the rest of the other videos how they deal with the AWP, but for me I just use the Fairy's Call because the AWP is basically set. Yeah, which is why every time they take a turn, the AWP actually increases more than it decreases, so the AWP isn't really an issue. The other condition is inflict break with debuff, which is basically for Caius. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure like 90% of the people I will be doing this Auron strategy just to save units. And it's also why I cut the video short, because this fight is pretty standard. Yeah, the cut should be around right now, and so I just cut it to where one of the boss dies soon. Yeah, there we go, 1%. So, sorry, still 2%, but yeah, the problem with the Kraken is that he has a lower health pool than the turtle. So you really want to focus all your attacks on the turtle. You know, once in a while you use your skills. In fact, I use my skill quite often because I wanted to put the melee resist down on the bosses, and most of the time they will expire because of how often the bosses go. But yeah, so there's also some RNG involved, like right here. There will be a few times where the bosses actually trigger Auron's last stand, and as long as the bosses don't take 2 HP attacks in a row, then you don't have an issue. Because if they attack Auron twice, so let's say 1 HP and one a normal attack, he will recover enough health to the point where he is in last stand range again. Basically, he is above 50% health. So as long as they don't take 2 HP attacks in a row, then yeah, it's not an issue. And the interesting thing is that 2 HP attacks in a row requires both the Kraken and the turtle to do HP attacks, because I watched all 45 minutes, and yeah, this run actually took 45 minutes. I just cut it to like 5 minutes. So for my runs at least, there was no time where both bosses were going to do a HP attack. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's based on luck or it is the way the mechanics work. You see, look at that, there's 1 HP attack. And right there, yes, you see, A is actually going to use his all, which is, yes, his Great Geyser. So I guess if Auron had broken then, or if he had been lower than half, then yeah, this would be the issue. But trust me when I say that was the only time where that actually happened. And from the way the things work, at least, it never happened where let's say I get broken and the Kraken takes, because when Auron gets broken, the Kraken almost immediately takes another turn, and let's say he does a HP attack, you'll be at 1. Most of the time the turtle is not doing the all attack, he's doing the single attack. And if you're really paranoid, you can actually just save your summon for when that happens. You know, you don't have to use the Odin summon, you can always use the Alexander summon, so that you can go into summon, you know, your safety net basically. So right here, 1% health, the turtle is dead. I don't have to worry about the fight any longer. But yeah, I mean, if you die, just try to run again. It's basically just time consuming, it's not so much difficult. So yeah. Like I said, they only have 1 HP attack. For the turtle is the all attack, and for the Kraken is the single target attack. And the Kraken will use the attack even when he's broken. In fact, I believe the turtle also use the attack when he's broken. It's just that it's easier to see when the turtle is going to use his all attack. So it's easier for you to plan in that sense, if you can plan it. But yeah, it's a bit hard to control because most of the time it's often stuff that's going on. So yeah, there is some RNG involved, I guess. Right, I also used the Kate Sith call, but I kind of timed it wrongly, so yeah, most of the time it wasn't active. But if you can time it right, you'll be doing a lot more damage. Yeah. So on to the next fight. This fight, I believe I only took 9 minutes. I didn't have to fast forward anything. This fight is basically a joke if you're bringing Selfie. In fact, anybody that can, in fact, not say anybody that can launch, but if you're using seed rains, yeah, this fight is really a joke also. So even if you're not bringing Selfie and you're bringing seed rains, it is still possible to do this fight. I actually done it. If you have seen the beginning of the fight, basically seed rains and I think maybe Butts was locked out because I actually tried to use the seed Mao combo. I mean, it worked. It's just that for the final boss, the middle gate, it's kind of impossible to do with seed Mao. Yeah, so I had to rerun this. So for seed rains, for you to hit that 3 consecutive launches, you basically need to use his LD once, and then when it's his turn again, you use his instant one, the HP variant, and then you use any one of his other skills, and make sure that the next character that goes is also able to launch. Basically use a call or Kai's launch enable skill. I forget what's it called already. Hero support, yeah. So yeah, that is the way to set up. Basically, if you're not going to run Selfie. If you are, then yeah, it's not really an issue as long as you put the LD on the boss. Basically, you will always be launching until the LD runs out. I also realized that well, not in this fight at least, but I found out that the LD actually doesn't expire when you go into burst phase. So yeah, that's something nice. Basically, it is basically a very it's basically a seed rains call, but in the form of a debuff on the boss. So yeah. Actually, there's nothing really much to say. The boss actually doesn't really yeah, he doesn't take a turn. I believe I use Rupture right here after using Wall. It's nice that most of Selfie skills are instant. There we go, Aura. Another instant skill. And then I believe we go into the Rupture. Right? Right, yeah, Casey's call, because I wanted to break the boss. Yeah, because Selfie actually doesn't break. She actually can't break, I believe, if not for her Brave attack. All her skills doesn't break. So yeah, use Kate Save's call to break and then go into Rupture. And I believe after that we go into the Summon, if I'm not wrong. Once Butts reach 3 stacks, if I'm not wrong. This boss is actually pretty weird in the sense that because of the way his mechanic is supposed to work, most of the time he doesn't get a turn or he's not really doing much. In fact, the only time you actually need to worry was when he did his that weird buff. I don't know what you call it. There'll be a text on top and say that the destruction increase or movements are getting lighter, something like that. And then his turn will actually jump forward to immediately after one of your character's turn. So I personally, I feel that that's the only thing that you need to be worried about, because then you will not be consecutive, or you didn't bring any healer and then the boss actually does a HP attack. That's it. If not, then yeah, most of the time it's not an issue. So another interesting thing is that the LD debuff stays, or rather you're able to launch the boss even with calls, but at the same time it also expires if, there we go, it just expired. So it also expires if you use calls. So right here, yeah, what I should have done was go into the burst before using the call so that I'll be able to launch the boss constantly. Just more damage, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, because I'll be going to summon pretty soon, and once the summon ends, the boss is dead. So yeah, I mean, look at himself, he's basically melting. In fact, Seed Range just makes bosses melt. There's nothing else much to say. Seed Range just does too much damage, man. And he's actually pretty useful for the next fight as well. In fact, he was key in the next fight because of all the damage he dishes out. Because if you're unaware of how the next gate's mechanic works, is basically they will put HP regen on themselves, and they will also have one skill that will heal them. So they regen for about 180k, and then that skill that heals them is based on how much damage they deal. So if you are really unlucky, you get broken, you take a bunch of HP damage, the boss could basically just heal up to 200k or something like that. And that is like most party members of yours S1 or S2, you know, that's basically a skill wasted. But for Sid Reigns, you know, he being the damage dealer that he is, he does so much that he is able to cover about 2 turns of the bosses. You know, if the boss takes 2 turns in a row, that basically covers his damage. So yeah, not including off-turn damage obviously, but yeah, so that, I mean, he just does so much. Look at that. I recently blued him. Yeah, I just blued him because I decided, you know what, he deserves it. He really deserves it. Another interesting thing is that I thought that Caius was necessary for the middle gate. So guys, I did the middle stage for about 3-4 hours. I was so sick of the stupid wave, both wave actually, 1 and 2, because the mechanics for both wave 1 and 2 is very similar, because you have to put debuffs on them, and the team that I brought basically had almost no debuff other than Oren. I brought Butts, Sid and Oren. Butts only puts one debuff and is not frame. Sid doesn't put any debuff at all, and Oren has debuffs. He has his counter debuff, which is the break, and he also has initial brave, max brave down. He also has melee HP resist down, and I think that's it. Sorry, not melee HP, just melee resist down. So I believe 3 in total, and his S2 and his EX is the same. It puts melee resist down on the bosses. So yeah, but the problem is that the counter is a frame debuff, so anything else the boss can basically just replace it. And trust me, they do replace it very often. If you guys have not did the run yet, it was such an annoying fight. In fact, you guys will be seeing it pretty soon. I'm actually gonna I believe I fast forward the majority of it because of how the boss works. You basically just see Oren countering, and the boss just healing up about 2% every time they take a turn. It's so annoying. But I slowed down the parts where it was key in it, or rather I felt that it was very important. So you guys should be seeing that fight pretty soon. In fact, this fight is actually a pushover. The first fight and the second fight, strangely enough, for this particular tier 6 gate, is actually really a pushover. I mean, look at it. I believe the summon phase just ended, and maybe not just ended, but yeah, look at it, 3% health. Sid Reigns. He is to blame for the amount of damage we're doing. Thought that was pretty funny. So anyway, yep, there we go, he's dead. And I mean, I'll show my party team com, the sphere artifacts, the usual stuff, you know. Right about, yeah, it's gonna be a quick one, and then we go into, yeah, this stupid annoying fight that took me God knows how long. I'm so glad I didn't time it. All I know was that I had one recording that was about 1 hour, and that was me failing. So the first fight, the bosses are actually pretty simple, as in pretty easy, in the sense that they actually melt pretty fast. I believe we have fought these bosses multiple times. They have not changed. I believe this was the Agrest boss, right? If I'm not wrong. So yeah, their mechanics have not changed. They do a bunch of AoE, not shared, it is split evenly among your teammates. So yeah, that's something to be very careful with. I died many times because of that also. Because as you see, both bosses are going to take turns in a row, like A and B. So when A does his I believe it's a Gobulated Crush Plus, he will always come out of break, and he will always gain Brave and then hit your party members. It doesn't matter whether you're broken or not, it is a flat amount. But that's the problem, it is a flat amount. So the only way to do it, to tank it out, because if you notice, Buds actually had the lowest health, not including Oren. Oren has some HP damage resist. I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't know that he had some, but yeah, I think that came from his LD. And right here, I actually realized, hey, why is Buds taking damage? You know, that should have been a HP attack right there. And why is Buds not getting covered? And that was when I realized I actually forgotten to put the LD buff on my party. So I was like, oh shit, did I screw up again? Oh, that was so annoying. But yeah, I opted to kill them both, or try and kill them both at the same time. It is possible, you know, to just focus on one and then switch your target to the other one. But the problem with doing that was I had to refresh the op counter, and I mean, I feel like it didn't help me even if I were to just focus on one down, because they will still have to take a turn when they go into the air, because the amount of brave resist they have, or defense or whatever, was so insane that I just opted to let them take a turn. I have Oren with me anyway, right? So yeah, so here's another thing to worry about. I mean, not really to worry, but just to be careful, because if you let them, not say let them, but if you time it wrongly and they do this flash star into a Gobulated Crush, there's a very good chance your party will wipe. See right here, right there. He's actually that's not the one that is tied to their HP. I believe it's at 59%. Was it 59? Was it 49? Yeah, I know it's pretty low. If I'm not wrong, he's gonna do it right here. Yeah, I believe it's 49. So as long as one hits 49%, both will go into this stance, and it's so annoying. So okay, right there, I kind of made a mistake, because what I should have done was put Oren's S1 buff, debuff on the bosses, because that is the initial brave down and max brave down. So it will really limit the amount of damage they can do. But thankfully, Sirens is in the team, so Sirens to the rescue. He actually, first of all, Buds destroyed their brave. There we go. Destroyed gravity, love it. So Buds destroyed the brave, and yeah, Sid Reigns brought Oren forward so that Oren can do his S1. Guys, I cannot emphasize how important it is to put Oren's S1 debuff on the bosses, because if not, Buds will not survive. Simple as that. You are about to see B doing an attack right here, so if you can stagger them, Buds is definitely going to survive. But right there, 8,351. If not for Oren's debuff, the damage that they'll do to Buds is about 10 to 11k. And if you notice Buds' health before the regen, at least, he would have definitely died if you were to take a second one. So right here, there we go. See, another 8,500. So yeah, that is the reason why it is necessary for Oren to put his debuff on. So once you make it to this part of the fight, I mean, the fight is more or less done, because right here the bosses, they become paper again. that's a very simple way of saying it, but they become paper again. You're definitely able to destroy them right here. I mean, look at Oren's damage right here. Granted, that is with Buds' burst effect up, but yeah. So went into summon. Honestly, the only reason why I went to summon is so that I don't have to worry about the AWP, because none of my party members can put 8 debuffs on them. This 8 debuffs thing is catered towards Caius. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but I brought the Caius call on Buds, and honestly, that was really a mistake. I went in thinking that Caius will be able to put 4 debuffs on the bosses with his first call and second call. and that was my mistake because his second call does not put any debuff. I'm not sure why actually. I assumed that that you know, Caius will put his debuff on the boss, but apparently not. You know, his LD does not apply any debuffs if they are not debuffed initially. In fact, I'm not sure if he actually puts debuff if they are debuffed. So yeah, Caius' call sucks. No, not really, but I just don't like Caius. You know, I don't like him as a character. I never liked him as a character. I was forced. I went in thinking that I was forced to pull for Caius, which is why I actually spent like 70 tickets to try and get his LD. I did it off camera and I got it, yeah, in 70 tickets. I got 2 of his LD in the same draw. So yeah, I believe I had to build him. I didn't get his armor obviously, but I believe I purpled him, got maxed out his LD, only to realize that he was useless in this fight. The amount of regrets I have, man. That 70 tickets could have been someone else's LD, right? So yeah. So I believe I used two. No, yeah, right here I actually managed to save one of Sid Rain's LD to be used in the next wave. I used only one, even though it did drop off. But yeah, I only used only one. So 1%. I have 2 Fairies Call, which it is very important that I have both of them because I'll be using both of them in the next fight, in the next wave. So if you guys are trying to do the same comp as well, try to save one of your calls, both of your calls for the next fight. In fact, you would kind of want to put it on someone that is faster, and definitely not on Oren, because there was times where I kind of wish that the Fairies Call was on someone like Sid or Butts, and I couldn't use the call because it was on Oren. And the problem with putting in Oren is that if Butts' burst effect is not up, Oren will constantly get broken, and that's the part I actually kind of fast forwarded, because Oren just constantly gets broken and he's not able to catch up in terms of the amount of healing they are doing. So right there you saw that I actually used his Brave. I just went into Brave because at the beginning of the fight, if the bosses are not debuffed at all, they will actually excuse me, they will actually not take any damage. The damage reduction is damage HP reduction is 200%, and then it constantly gets lower and lower. Okay, that's not right either. What actually happens is that they tie the amount of damage and the amount of damage they do, how much damage you do to the boss and how much damage the boss do to you, to the amount of debuffs you inflict on the bosses. So if there are no debuffs on the boss, then the boss will not take any damage, and brave reduction and their defenses, I believe, it just skyrockets. So you'll be doing ones, you'll be hitting for zeros. Simple as that. So the nice thing is that for Oren, when he does his brave hit, the bosses will immediately take a turn after that. So Oren's counter will actually apply a break on the bosses, so that counts as 1 debuff. So they will start taking damage again. So yeah, that is for 1 debuff. For the next few, yeah, there we go. So 2 to 4, they will have HP and brave damage up. So okay, basically when you hit 2 to 4 debuffs, this particular effect of the boss is gone, and it's HP and damage brave up by 50%. Attack speed and defense is also 50%. So when you hit 5 debuffs, they will cancel their move to the next turn. So not 5 debuffs, anything more than 5 debuffs. So yeah, that is basically the most important part. So you want to have 6 debuffs on them constantly, unless you're able to do the counter comp. You know, you're really able to really maximize on it, because I was only able to counter about 90k, yeah, that's with But's burst effect up, about 90,000 damage per counter on both bosses obviously. So when A goes, Oren counters for 90k, when B goes, Oren counters for 90k, so it kind of break even in terms of the amount of healing they do. based on the amount of healing they do. There we go, 180,000. So yeah, this is without. There we go. See, there we go. He just keeps constantly getting broken because of the bosses. 61k. He can't even catch up in terms of the healing. So yeah, that's. I did not realize that. I kind of thought that Auron would be able to deal with their healing at least, you know, with all the counters and stuff. So yeah, you wanna be able to hit 6 debuffs on the bosses so they don't constantly get stunned, or you want to have burst effect up so that Auron is able to match the healing. I'll put all the effects in the description below, but what if you're able to permanently put 8 debuffs on them, basically 8 frame debuffs, then you shouldn't have an issue with this fight, honestly. However, they do cleanse at 89 and 59%. So yeah, I kind of waited until both bosses hit 89% before I apply my first debuff call on the boss. And here's where I speed up 2.5 times. I basically waited. Okay, it is possible to just, you know, put one of your Fairy's Call at the 100% mark so that you can do damage. You can hit them without worrying about them taking a turn after you. But I kind of like to wait until I hit the 89% mark, because that's when they cleanse the first time. So any calls that you use, any debuffs that you put on them will kind of be wasted, because 89% is not very far. One Seed Rain's LD actually brought them down to, I believe, 90 something or close to 89. So yeah, I would suggest you kind of save it for later. So burst them down, rush them down to 89%. Apply your first debuff, which I should be doing right here, I believe. Yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, I'm just kind of waiting for Auron to go so that I can put the Fairy's Call on them. And it's so annoying because he keeps getting broken. Yes, yeah, right here. So the fact that he keeps getting broken, I realized that Auron will never take a turn if I don't go into Bud's Burst. So I was hoping to be able to save this for later. In fact, I'm not sure if you're able to spot, but I kind of, if at the beginning of the video, or at the beginning of this fight, or sorry, at the beginning of the 89%, I believe Auron actually took a turn, and that was when I actually applied the Fairy's debuff on them. But if not, then yeah, I had no choice. I had to go into burst. If not, I will not be able to deal with this. They are out healing my damage basically. So yeah, and I actually waited. I tried to use Seed Rains to bring Auron forward, but the boss took a turn, Auron covered, and he broke. So yeah, there was basically no way for me to deal with it. So go into the burst. This will actually allow Auron to not get broken because of Bud's effect, which is so good right here. How it works is basically whenever Auron counters, he will gain a percentage of Brave back based on his damage. But with Bud's burst effect up, Auron actually is able to get back more. And here's another interesting thing. So if you go into the burst sequence, it doesn't trigger the boss additional turn. So yeah, that's pretty nice. But I didn't want to take the risk. I just applied the Fairy's debuff on them. I can't be bothered to wait any longer. So I believe that is basically the most important part of this fight. Is when you apply the debuffs. I'm not exactly sure when the next speed up is, but other than that, there's nothing really much. Alright, right here I was actually waiting to show you guys the effect of Bud's burst on Auron. So right here he did his EX. So look at the amount of Brave he gets back. It is not a lot as compared to when Bud's is at 3 stacks, but it is actually enough, I believe, for when if Auron were to get targeted, he should be able to not get broken. But even if that was the case, even if he got targeted, and I mean, even if he were to be targeted, the boss were not actually going to take another turn because of the Fairy's debuff on them. Fairy's actually puts 5 debuffs on them. And yeah, with that 5 debuff and Oren's own counter debuff, the break, they are that's 6 debuffs. That is the magical number that I was telling you guys about. So they stop their taking their turn immediately after I go. So yeah, that is basically the key to this fight. 6 debuffs. So if you are running Caius, then yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. He I believe he puts like 4 debuffs on the bosses by himself. So yeah, you can either just run him or Yuffie. If not, then yeah, you guys probably have to do the same as me and stick to the calls. I brought Tidus call as well. That's 3 frame debuffs. So stack it with. It was supposed to be Caius, but Caius let me down. Caius 4 and Tidus 3 debuffs, so 7. With Orange 1 more, 8. So yeah, it would have been perfect, but no, Caius had to screw me over, man. So what I should have done was stick to my Gabrov call, because even though Gabrov only puts 2, it is 2 frame 1. So yeah, it's still not too bad. I mean, his S1, sorry, it's not really his S1, but his first call actually does put 4. It's just that those 4 are only 2 are frame. The other 2 are your generic, I believe, attack and defense now. So the bosses will always replace it with their own buffs, the HP regen, the attack speed and defense up kind of thing. So yeah, so it is really a pain. So right there, Orange counter with Buds 3 stack. Look at the damage. I believe it was 120 something K. We're about to see it right here again. Oh right, he's 0. There we go. Well, if not for that 0 thing, the initial hit was about 100 and something K. So that counter was actually pretty good because rather very perfectly timed in the sense that when the boss cleansed, it was immediately going to take another turn. So it will have cleansed and then Oren will have countered. So immediately put the debuff on them again. So yeah, that is the reason why I left this part in as well, because at the 59% mark they cleanse. So see right there, B took a turn, Oren countered and put the debuff on A. So it is basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So right here, right here I was like, having 4 calls here would be really, 4 debuffs on them would be really good. So Caius went and no debuffs, and I was like, shit guys, what the hell have I done? I wasted 70 tickets on a guy I can't be bothered with, only for him to let me down. Like waste of my 7 tickets. Yeah, so right here, speed it up again. Yeah, you saw that Auron got broken basically because he didn't have any brave. I believe it was because Sid launched him, and he doesn't get as much brave back as when he normally counters. So yeah. So in general, Auron doesn't get broken with Bud's burst effect up. Look at that, 32k. Yeah, 32k. So he never gets broken as long as Bud's burst is up. Waiting for a really good time for me to be able to put Fairy's Call on them again. But I'm not so worried because as long as Bud's burst is up, Auron will out damage their healing. Look at that, 111,000, I believe. Right here I use Tidus Call, and very simple reason, I wanted to hit, or was trying to hit the 6 debuff again, because with Auron's S1 you'll be able to hit 6 with Tidus debuff up, but I made a mistake. First of all, I cannot use it kind of early, and second, I believe Auron took a turn already, and if you notice, I didn't use his S1. I used his S2. I'm not sure if this was the one that I screwed up, but yeah, I did not use Auron's S1. I pressed too fast and I used his S2 instead. I'm like, what have I done, man? why am I torturing myself like this? so annoying. But yeah, guys. Another interesting fact is that Fairies, her second core, her LD core, it actually puts a shorter duration debuff on the bosses. So if you really want to maximize, you really want to play safe, then you might want to save your first core, the base core, for the later part of the fight, because that's when you really need it. For the beginning of the fight, the 89 to 59, you can get away with using the shorter duration debuff, because 89 to 59 is like what, 30%, but then for 59 to 0 is like 59% obviously. So yeah, you kind of want to use the longer duration one on the later part of the fight. So there we go. I mean, right here I'm just being stubborn. I could have just put the Fairies debuff on them, and it wouldn't have been an issue anymore. But I'm not exactly sure why I keep trying to use Tidus Core into Oran's S1. I have no idea. But yeah, I should have just used Fairies Core, get the fight done and over with. It would have been definitely shorter turns, and way faster and less stress. But yeah, apparently I like to torture myself. So I apologize for the really long video. This is already at 2x speed. Maybe I should have used 3x instead, but I'm just gonna leave it in. I'm tired of looking at this fight so many times. Even just to edit it, I can't be bothered already. I'm sorry guys, but yeah, I've been trying this fight for so long. So I believe I fast forwarded it all the way until like the 40 something minute mark, and that's when the bosses were just about to die. Yeah. In fact, I did this fight so many times that I kind of know their moves. They only have really 3 set of moves. First one was Ren. Second one was the I can't remember, Flower Bomb, was it? I believe it's called Flower Bomb. Yeah, that's how many times I did this. Yeah, there we go, Flower Bomb. And this will heal them if they are in their in fact it just heals them. It doesn't matter, especially at the later part of the fight. I believe the mechanic was supposed to be when they changed the stupid color, but yeah, it constantly heals them. So as long as you're doing Flower Bomb, they will heal based on the amount of damage you do. That's the skill I was telling you guys about. And when they change color, they will actually there. I don't think that was it, but when they change color, they will actually put the HP regen on themselves. But again, they also do it when they are not in that particular purple color thing. So you know what, screw it, just take it as they will always, yeah, because they always put their stupid HP regen on themselves. So finally, Fairies Call, they will not speed up, you know, they will not take turns after I go. That's so annoying, you know. I thought that was supposed to be my kind of mechanic, right? So yeah, finally done with in fact I believe that was it. Yeah, this was it. The only turns they took was their normal turns. It wasn't their, you know, you take a turn so I'm gonna take a turn, that kind of thing. In fact, I actually slowed this down because the bosses were actually gonna die. I was actually gonna fast forward it all the way, but yeah, you know, for those of you who want to see, I don't know why you want to see the end slowly, but yeah, you know, this is it. 11%, and I'm launching them constantly because Sid can finally take a turn. Well, I wouldn't say finally, but yeah, he can take a turn without worrying about, you know, the boss immediately going after him. Because it's really hard to set up a launch when the bosses immediately go again and again and again, and they're actually pretty fast without their turn warping, you know. So yeah, once dead, with Sid, this last one is gonna be a joke, you know. With the amount of debuffs the boss has, he's dead. In fact, it doesn't even matter if he doesn't have that many debuffs. With Bud's burst effect up, Auron will be able to out damage the healing. In the sense, if both was alive. If one's alive, then yeah, it might be difficult. But Sid is definitely more than able to deal with the healing. But that's again provided if burst effect is up. So yeah, that's very important. So yeah, guys, it's finally dead. Stupid praying mantis. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. Really long video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.